Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about a piece of nonfiction by the writer of 1984 called George Orwell. George Orwell wrote a nonfiction piece of writing called Why I Write, and he sets out the evolution of his writing career, and he clearly thinks he's developed as a writer over the years. He says that when he was young, he was a bit of a loner, and he could face unpleasant facts, and he thought this made it so that he would naturally become a writer. He didn't write a lot when he was young, but he tells us about his various attempts at writing at that age. When he got older, he learned to appreciate the sounds and associations of different words. He tells us about his first novel called Burmese Days, and he sees this as written in purple prose. He says that to be a writer, every writer needs to acquire an emotional attitude when he is young. He says that early influences give writers the impulse to write. He goes on to talk about the 4 key motives for writing as he sees it. The first reason to write, according to George Orwell, is egotism. The desire to prove oneself in the world, etc. Interestingly, he says that most people give up on being individuals by the time they get to about 30. But writers are determined to live their own lives till the end. And I thought that was really quite an interesting insight. The next reason why he says that writers write is aesthetic enthusiasm. Liking the way words sound, enthusiasm for the beauty of words, for the rhythm of words, the desire to share experiences, even fascination with typography. Next, he talks about the historical impulse, the desire to write facts down for future generations, to be a kind of recorder. The final reason to write, according to Orwell, is political purpose. He claims that if he wasn't born in such dark times, he wouldn't write for political reasons chiefly. But he claims he was born into a very dark time because he experienced imperialism in Burma and poverty and Hitler and the Spanish Civil War. He sees political writing as trying to alter people's view of what we should strive for. And he wanted to warn against totalitarianism and encourage democratic socialism. He says he wants to make political writing into an art form, but the aesthetic nature of writing is still very important to him. He talks about Homage to Catalonia, which he sees as a very political book. Animal Farm he seems to see as a better book because he married the aesthetic and political aspects of writing. Towards the end of the piece, he writes, "One can write nothing readable unless one constantly struggles to efface one's own personality." So clearly to George Orwell, the writer should be almost invisible. This book was a very interesting read. I highly recommend you read it. Surprisingly, he said that he didn't enjoy writing, which surprised me. I find the best writers tend to enjoy writing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.